you have to accommodate them. And if you have to accommodate a naked biological boy being in your naked biological girl's locker room and showering with them in high school, well, by God, you better be willing to put some latex gloves on, slap some wax on that man's privates, and wax them. Just the tip. You make it sound sexual. It's not sexual. Hey, we're just talking about sexual harassment, right, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Needed an audible verification of that. Would you say it's sexual harassment for a guy to force a woman to see him naked and touch his body? Is that sexual harassment?
Yes.
Tim says yes. Huh. Weird you would say that, producer Tim, because a biological man who claims to identify as a woman has filed a complaint with the Massachusetts Attorney General's office to use the state's gender identity law to force a female-oriented spa to wax the area around his privates. Did you see that meme with that little kid who was like, wait a minute, so you're telling me that seeing a man naked at a college party is sexual harassment, but a little girl seeing a man naked in the girls' bathroom is not sexual harassment? Have you seen that? Kind of funny. So, just we've got the social justice warrior left in this country telling us, okay, that any frankly common teenage behavior with high schoolers, not justifying it, I'm not excusing it, but let's be honest, it happens a lot on both sides. That is sexual assault, and at the very least harassment, while at the same time saying that you have to force women to wax a man's privates if he wants it, based on how he identifies. You make it sound sexual. It's not sexual. Too soon? Oh, boy. The man demanded, alleged man, a man who identifies as a woman, demanded that the South Shore Spa provide him with a full Brazilian wax and other beauty services under the state's gender identity law, according to the New Boston Post. The complainant claimed that other spas in Braintree and Quincy also refused to service him because he stated, they said I was not really a woman because I had, I'll just say, male anatomy. He reportedly said that he is a very desirable customer because he tips well. Ooh. Oh, boy. Very braggadocious. Just the tip. But here's the thing. So we had a bunch of people saying that if you identify as the opposite sex, you should be able to go into the locker room and be naked in front of other people who are biologically different than you, right? And this would be at a high school level, junior high school level, that sort of thing, right? There's no weirdness or awkwardness happening when people are going through puberty at that age anyway, producer Tim, so it would have been okay. No strangeness or weirdness at all. Plus their maturity level, when they're 13, 14, and 15 is just stellar. Nothing to worry about there. So then you have those people saying, well, get over it, mature. And so what if you see people naked? And then, of course, if you show people that you can be naked at a college party, they will try and ruin your entire life, right? Which, of course, he allegedly did not do. So it's kind of interesting. You have to force people to be around naked people of the opposite sex. Unless they're being nominated to the Supreme Court by this president, then it's a bad thing. It's an okay thing in school. It's an okay thing if you're an adult and you're at the gym. Remember, we had that woman who was really upset about that biological man who identifies as a woman, transgender, who was in the shower locker room of a Planet Fitness a couple years ago, right? And she told the individual to get out. He told management. They kicked her out, expelled her, revoked her membership, all of that stuff. And one of the things that I've said repeatedly is, hey, when you're going to make this policy that you've got to share, you have to share. Okay, you can't. You're not going to have women only sections of the gym now. Okay, if you are going to go ahead and say that a biological man can identify as a woman and he can change from hour to hour on how they feel, you can't have the women's only section of the gym to get away from the eyeballing males, which, by the way, almost never happens. But anyway, you can't do that because now a guy can just say he identifies as a woman and get in there, and there's nothing that you can do about it. They don't have to provide any medical documentation. They don't have to provide any proof that they actually do go back and forth with their gender identity. You have to accommodate them. And if you have to accommodate a naked biological boy being in your naked biological girl's locker room and showering with them in high school, well, by God, you better be willing to put some latex gloves on, slap some wax on that man's privates, and wax him. Otherwise, you're just being a bigot. So it's kind of interesting how things kind of play out. Being naked in front of the opposite sex is sexual harassment and or assault, depending on which freakazoid you talk to. Unless, of course, we are talking about a transgender individual, and then it's not sexual harassment and or assault. This is all very confusing. Look, I know it's a Monday. I know it's very hard to follow all of this stuff. All you need to know is that I support this gentleman lady 100%. If they are a biological man who identifies as a woman, then by God, anybody who does Brazilian waxing jobs on females under nether regions should be doing it on biological men's nether under regions as well. Got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather.
Z-Bart?
Okay.
You missed a perfect opportunity to use the word undercarriage and then segue immediately into a Z-Bart read.
I'll have to do it now. Like, speaking of undercarriages.
I mean, still have a good opportunity.
Just like that guy wants to take care of his undercarriage, you got to take care of yours.
Your car.
Use it or it gets rusty. Is he a ginger? I don't know.